I'd like to offer a big shout out to Touchdown Digital for sponsoring this week's video.
Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Glenn Sumner and you're watching Sniper Photography. I hope everybody's fit and well out there. Look, today I want to talk to you about three things which I believe are essential to elevating your ability as a landscape photographer. And funny enough, these three things I'm about to tell you have nothing to do with what cameras you use, what lenses you choose to use on the day, and what settings you use on the day. So these three things are very, very important, and I suggest that if you incorporate this into your landscape photography and the way you think about things, I can guarantee you that your landscape photography will improve. There's no doubt about it. So what are these three things? First up, time of day. Now, for me, 99.9% of my landscape photography is early morning sunrise and late afternoon sunset. And the reason for that is because the light is so much better. It's a lot more manageable, and the images are just so much better. So with sunrise photography, I like to arrive at a location an hour before sunrise. So here on the east coast of Australia, especially with daylight saving, it is a rather early start for a lot of people. So if sunset's at 5:30 a.m, you want to be on location at 4:30. That way you've got time to set up and you're ready for when that magic happens in that beautiful sky here. And you've only got about probably an hour after sunrise and it's all over. A bit different to sunset photography, which I'll get to in a moment. So 99.9% of my photography, landscape photography, is sunrise and sunset. Now with sunset photography, which I do prefer, and that's why I'm out here today at Boar's Head, which is just behind me here, and a little bit more about that in the next video. With sunset photography, you've got a bit more time up your sleeve to capture those images. And once again, if sunset here tonight is at 8:10. Now it's 5:45 now, and I'm here a bit early so I could do these two YouTube videos. But with sunset photography, as I said, you've got a bit more time to capture those images, a bit more time to set up. But having said that, you want to get onto location, or get to your location about an hour and a half to 2 hours before sunset, because you'll have a lot of tourists, a lot of people just coming out and having a look at sunsets. Not many people want to get up early and watch a sunrise, which we understand. So sunset is, probably the best time of all to capture some really magnificent images. But with sunset photography, I find that a lot of people, once that sun sets below the horizon, they pack their camera away, grab their tripod, jump in the car and go home. Well, they're missing the best part of sunset photography, because once that sun sets below the horizon, that's when the big dance really starts. That's when the blue hour hits for about half an hour, and that's when you really capture those great images that you see on the web. So don't pack up your gear once the sun drops below the horizon. Hang around for half an hour. And I know people they pack up real quick, they grab their gear, they get in the car and they go home, and as they're driving down the highway, they look in the rear vision mirror behind them and see all this magnificent colour. So they do a U-turn, come back, and by the time they arrive back on location, it's too late, they've missed it. So with sunset photography, don't pack up as soon as the sun drops below the horizon. You don't want to do that, because you're really limiting yourself to what you can capture at sunset. So that's number one. What's number two? Number two is the weather. Now, weather is, and weather patterns play a big part with our landscape photography. There's no doubt about that. And I strongly suggest to each and every one of you out there is to study the weather religiously. Make it like your religion. Because weather will dictate what clothing to wear, what location you can go to, what lens, what equipment, what settings you're going to use. So the weather is so important with landscape photography. In actual fact, I think that's number one. Over everything else is the weather and how it impacts our photography, our landscape photography. So now, for most people, they usually go out for a shoot on the weekend, either a Saturday or Sunday, because they're working during the week, of course, and they really don't study the weather. They study it at 5 o'clock Friday afternoon. That's no good to you. What you really want to do is start focusing on the weather on a Wednesday and all the way through to Friday night if you're going out on a Saturday or a Sunday. That way you'll see a pattern, because even though the weather changes very quickly, it does work on a pattern. And as I said, I'm a weather fanatic. I drive my family mad with weather. And this location here, this is the 6th day in a row that I've come here. This is the 6th day. For 6 days I've been coming here, and I've been watching the weather, and I think I'm going to get really what I'm after the 6th visit, or 6th day in a row. So, but more about that in a moment. So study the weather. Really pay attention to what the weather's doing on the day, on that week leading up to when you're going out for a photo session on the weekend, say a Saturday or Sunday. So please study the weather and really concentrate on it. I use photo pills on my phone and also AccuWeather, which is a free app. There's plenty of free apps out there. Photo pills is a paid subscription one, of course. Very good. But AccuWeather is very good as well. Photo Time is very good. I'll put all the links to all this down below in the bottom of this video, so you can click on them and have a look at them for yourself. So please study the weather. And once you get that, and if you know everything else about photography, well, seriously, your images should be elevated up here from down here up here. So that's number 2, the weather. Now what's number 3? Number three is the determination and the perseverance and the tenacity, the want and the desire and the commitment to come back to a location time and time again. Like here today at Boar's Head, this is my 6th day in a row coming here, because there's a certain light that I'm after that will highlight this magnificent structure behind me, which is Boar's Head. So don't feel like you're missing out with coming to the same location over and over again, because that's what separates the great landscape photographers from the good landscape photographers. The ability and the want to come back and photograph the same location over and over again. You have to be really determined to do this, and just to nail that one image that you want. And I think it's very important that by revisiting a location over and over again, you will get better at your photography. There's no doubt about that. So the determination that one must show or have, and the tenacity, but the passion for this. You've got to have passion to do this. So I suggest, don't worry about feeling, oh, I feel like I'm wasting my time because I'm coming back to the same location over and over again. Don't think like that, because you're actually improving and you're giving yourself a great chance of capturing that image. Because let's face it, there's 365 days in a year. How many days in a year do we get really good light? Anyone? No? Not many. So by coming out once and thinking, well, it wasn't all that good, and then you don't come back, you're limiting yourself to the opportunity to grab those great shots. So please come back to the same location over and over again until you get what you want. Now, I get it. I understand some people have to travel for hours to get to locations. I understand that. So I don't expect everyone to drive hours and hours every second day or every weekend to photograph the same location. However, if you're shooting on a Saturday or Sunday and you don't really get the images that you want, come back next weekend and follow the weather. And if that doesn't work, come back again. And then if that doesn't work, come back again. Just keep coming back to the same location until you get what you're happy with. That is what landscape photography is all about, and that is how you make yourself a great landscape photographer. Now, Ansel Adams, the landscape photographer, the American, God bless his soul, he's no longer with us, of course, rated as probably the best landscape photographer the planet has ever seen. He would go out and camp for weeks in the one location. Now, I don't expect everyone to do that, of course, that's just madness. We've all got lives to lead. But try and, if you're not happy with the shots that you got at a certain location, please try and come back as soon as you can, study the weather, and I think your shots will improve. That's how you do it. So show some tenacity, a bit of strength, and the want and the commitment to come back to the same location to grab those shots that you finally want. So I hope you take something from that. Any questions or comments, please put them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I do recommend, if you do employ those 3 things in your landscape photography, you will improve. There is no doubt. There is just no doubt, because that's what I teach. I teach that in my workshops here in the magnificent Blue Mountains. And people have said to me, yeah, my shots are getting better because I kept on going back to the same location. Just that little thing like that helps you greatly. So that's it for another episode of Sniper Photography. I hope you've enjoyed this. As I said, any comments or remarks, please put them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So as I always say, be nice to yourself, family and friends, but most of all, you keep shooting and keep smiling. Bye for now.